There is some new buzz connecting the New York Jets to Colorado quarterback Shadur Sanders. Oh boy. We talk about it. Boy Green Daily starts now.
I'm going to lose my gosh darn bananas. Boy Green Daily starts now. Zoinks!
Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. Let's go!
Put your seatbelts on. Get ready for the ride. We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Paul Eston Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Ebby.com. Welcome to Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video show, also available wherever you get your podcast. Welcome to a weekend edition of Boy Green Daily. And when we get to the weekend, a special guest joins us. His name is Paul Eston Sr., a.k.a. Hop on Pop. Good morning, Father.
Good morning, Boy Green and Coffee Club.
All right, there you go. Let's flip the banner, of course, for the show. We've got our top 5 leaderboard here. A-Step 10 leading the pack, 122 raffle tickets. Our boy Osher Jet fan who we're thinking about, 80 raffle tickets in second place. Jimmy Jets in third place with 77 for Lily and Big D in fourth place with 45, and J-Boy with 31 raffle tickets so far this month, with everyone competing for this wonderful prize pack that we're throwing up on the screen right now. A New York Jets patched out pullover hoodie, Super Bowl prize pack with cool items from Super Bowls past, and a custom laser engraving package as well. All of this is available for one lucky person. We'll be announcing that on April Fool's Day. That'll be a Tuesday. And folks, you have the rest of March. There are 31 days in March, so you have through Monday, March 31st to submit all your raffle tickets in. They're $2.99 a pop. You can do that with Boy Green Coffee Club memberships or Super Chats throughout the rest of the month. There are no limit to the raffle tickets you can have. So good luck to everybody. And we already know what our April prize pack is. I already have the graphic put together. It's going to be pretty cool.
It is going to be amazing.
Yep. It's going to be pretty neato. But let's get right into it, Pop. And let's dive in on the Shadur Sanders buzz for the New York Jets. And the Shadur Sanders buzz is simply this. It's from ESPN NFL draft analyst Jordan Reed, who said he was asked this question. A lot of draft analysts were all included in this kind of combo article for ESPN. And a lot of draft questions were thrown out. Then each draft analyst shared their takes or sources or whatever they heard. And the question was, what are you hearing about Shadur Sanders potentially sliding in round 1? This was Jordan Reed saying, based on what I'm hearing, the Jets with the number 7 overall pick is the floor for Sanders. In other words, that the buck stops here. If Shadur Sanders is on the board for the New York Jets at 7th overall, he will be the pick at 7th overall. Now, before anything, I'll just say this. I spoke to my guy Mo Moten this week. He's a national reporter, a writer extraordinaire that covers things for Bleacher Report, and he told me earlier this week in a radio interview that the Raiders are the floor for Shadur Sanders. So, again, this may all be moot if he gets to a certain point in this draft. But, yeah, Jordan Reed saying that the buck stops here and that the Jets could do a discount double check of the quarterback position with Justin Fields in free agency and potentially Shadur Sanders in the draft.
Those crickets are the enthusiasm of people.
Wow.
Yeah. I'll go back to, I've talked about Shadur Sanders before, and there's a video out there of me in a prison cell with a straitjacket on with Shadur Sanders derangement syndrome or whatever. I think he's overrated. He's getting against lesser talent by far. He's the 3rd best quarterback in the state of Kansas. And I would tell you that it doesn't line up with what Aaron Glenn's doing, right? Aaron Glenn said he's not making any moves this offseason that it's not to win now. And drafting Shadur Sanders is not a win now move. It is not. And so I think that the 7th pick may be the floor, as you will, but it'll be the floor for somebody else as the Jets trade back and build up some stocks. They got a lot of holes to fill. And quarterback is not amongst them.
I think that you're reading, in my opinion, far too much into that. Hey, I'm picking players to win now. So, like, let's play it out. We both are a fan of Kyle McCord in the draft. If the Jets selected him at any point in the draft, whether it's the first round or the seventh round, that is not helping the Jets in 2025. So why would he make that pick?
Who's that? I'm sorry, I missed what you said.
I'm saying that, like, as a random example, me and you are both a fan of Syracuse quarterback Kyle McCord. And whether they drafted Kyle at 7th overall or in the 7th round, it doesn't matter. Whenever the Jets potentially selected Kyle McCord, that wouldn't help the Jets in 2025. So I'm choosing to say that I believe that you are reading too much into the Aaron Glenn, everything I do is to win now. Not everything can be to win now. Not every player is going to be a starter. Not
everything is a first-round pick. A first-round pick can help you win now.
But you didn't say a first-round pick. You said he's not going to do anything this offseason that isn't about winning now. And I'm saying, okay, a random
example. It's too bad you didn't go to be a lawyer, right?
Well, that's what you just said.
Obviously the 7th-round pick is not helping them win now, obviously. But the first-round pick and the move you make at first round should, if it doesn't impact win now, then I don't know what you're doing if you're and in this situation for the Jets. Doesn't pertain that way for every team based on where they're at, right? The Giants or whoever they draft does not win now. It's don't suck now or something, that's their goal. But for the win now, you don't use your first round pick for that. For the Jets, they have plenty of holes to fill.
What is the ceiling for the New York Jets in 2025 in your mind?
Playoffs.
Okay.
Maybe second round. Second
round of the playoffs.
Yeah, maybe. That's the ceiling.
Okay. Oh, okay. Well, that's what I wanted to know because I think that's an important question to answer because knowing that ceiling can judge if you can look in the crystal ball and project what you believe you are. People have to have real conversations in the NFL building. I know everyone says they're going to win the Super Bowl, but what has to happen are real conversations of like, where are we really at here? Are we really competing for a Super Bowl? Or are we really competing for a top 5 pick? Or are we competing for the playoffs? Or are we competing for this? I think having those honest conversations are very important because if you could have those honest conversations, team building makes it a little easier. Because if you were competing for a Super Bowl, you might do a different move at 7 than if you're like, hey, we're going to give it our best, but we're probably going to have a losing team this year. I think that changes. Like, for instance, there are some people in the chat, our ceiling is 4 to 7 games, 4 to 7 wins, I'm assuming is what Phil was saying here. So there are people that are down. And let's just say Phil is right. That's the ceiling for the Jets. I have no idea. The draft hasn't happened yet, so I have no idea what that ceiling is. But let's say that's right. Then all of a sudden, the 7th overall pick, I don't think has to be win now anymore. It could be whatever you think is in the best interest of the franchise. And if they believe Shedeur in this conversation we're having now could be a franchise quarterback, and you're putting him behind, clearly he'd be QB3 in this scenario. He'd be developing behind Tyrod Taylor. He'd be developing behind Justin Fields. He would not see the field, so he'd get a chance to develop. There's a strong case to make that could be what's in the best for business, to use a WWE term, for the New York Jets.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't see them drafting a quarterback. I think they later in the rounds, I do. Jordan Travis could be the future New York Jets quarterback room, right? We just don't know what we don't know. And we don't know, right, what they're thinking or the moves that, we're like, well, they seem to really have missed the mark in free agency here. Well, that was their plan, right? You have to build the team in a myriad of ways, right? Develop them, draft them, free agent, re-sign. Yeah, it's all an intricate dance. And sometimes people talking about sports treat like every decision as a one-off as opposed to hopefully not. It's a part of an intricate plan to fill out this team. And I just don't see getting Fields, having Tyrod, having Jordan Travis in the room. Do we draft a quarterback later on? Absolutely. Mid-rounds, whatever. They've already done their analysis. They have their big board somewhere in the facility where here's our quarterback ranking. Here's really ideally where we think we would be. We're okay if it's not this, it's this, all that. I'm confident, right? Someone's getting paid over $1 million a year. That's their only job, is to analyze and break down where are we going to fill this hole with what. And that's what Eric Glenn is doing. So I just don't see it at number 7. Number 7 is worth money. And if you can get, I think it's Mason Graham, if I get the name right.
Michigan interior defense lineman.
Yeah, if you can get him at 7. Otherwise, I trade back and fill it out because there's some there's some holes to fill. More we'll talk about later. A shocking release of Tyler Conklin. That. Well, we'll talk about that in a minute. But now you had a hole there already. You thought there might be a hole behind him, right? And now there's a hole in front of him. And so between our entire receiving core, if you lump in the wide receivers and the tight ends, is thin, mighty thin, long and thin, like from Deuce Bigelow.
There you go. That's a special kind right there. There's no question about it. I will throw this comment up because I think the truth is always somewhere in between, right? Phil says 3 to 7 wins. We have Dan in here who's a diehard Buffalo Bills fan, says the ceiling for the Jets is 9 wins and backdooring into the playoffs. Realistically, this Jets regime is a couple years away. This roster outside of 3 to 5 players not close to playoff caliber. That's where I'm going to push back on the 3 to 5 players thing. So let's go through of players that I think should make every Jet fan feel pretty good. Sauce Gardner is on that list. That's 1. Garrett Wilson, 2. I think he's on that list. Jermaine Johnson makes you feel good. He's 3 on that list. And not in any order. I'm going by jersey number. That's the only reason I'm going this order. Breece Hall makes you feel really good. He's on there. Michael Carter II is the highest paid nickel cornerback in football. He makes you feel pretty good on that list as you're going through it. Jamin Sherwood makes you feel really good on that list. That's 6 players of a guy that you're like, okay, he's pretty good. Quincy Williams, former All-Pro. That's 7 that we're talking about here on the roster. Joe Tippmann's coming off a good year. You're feeling good about him. Now we're at 8. Olu Fashinu's on this list. Now you're at 9. AVT, John Simpson. I'm going through all these names, and I'm just scrolling through the Jets roster. Quinnen Williams is on this list. Will McDonald's coming off a double-digit sack season. So I think there are plenty of players. I think it goes far beyond the 3 to 5. I think that's underselling the talent of this Jets roster.
Let me talk about ceiling. Like, to me, ceiling is the ceiling. Like, what is the maximum they could achieve? That's what, to me, the ceiling is. And I would tell you this, Danny, in real life, salute. But I would tell you this, right? All the NFL analysts that were discussing the Jets roster and the talent. So either they were completely deranged syndrome, or the reason the Jets didn't do well last year, it was the cohesion. They didn't build a team. They had too many of this. And I will stop. So the Aaron Rodgers, the Devontae Adams, the Hassan Reddicks, right? They got too many shiny objects as opposed to focusing on the team.
Sure.
And Saleh wasn't capable, right? A team is successful not because you have s'mores together and hug each other as you sit around the campfire singing. It's a harsh reality. It's like a family, a harsh reality of accountability and support. That's what a real team is. And they couldn't get there. So the talent that everybody was espousing last year is still present. It's the building the team and filling in these gaps, that the rebuild that happens with every year, every team, that's important. And then Aaron Glenn bringing that Dan Campbell level of accountability, right? The Lions aren't where they've been the past few years because of superstars, although they don't hurt. When you have, 200% of your defensive team on the sidelines or on IR or whatever it is, it's how you build the team, the core, to survive. So I would say this team, it has lost some talent and a little bit more, but there's still a lot of players on the roster that was seen as one of the best rosters in the league, top 10, whatever it was. Those aren't my words. Those were words other people were using. That really was still a thing. The reason they failed was the play calling and the coaching. That's why the Jets failed last year, in my opinion.
I think you have it right, really spot on there of the fact of the coaching, and that potentially, I think that's the most underrated addition, if we're going to say anything about the New York Jets roster, is the coaching from here to here. And we'll see. Is it here to here? Is it here to here? I don't know. We're all going to find out together in 2025. But I think that's the difference of what kind of team result we could end up getting. Now, to quickly put this to bed here on Shadur Sanders, there are some polarizing takes on Shadur Sanders. There are not every team. Dane Brugler of The Athletic, he's an NFL draft insider. He is confirmed, because he has sources with every team, that not every team in the league has a first-round grade on Shadur Sanders. And so there you go. Trevor Sikkema, Pro Football Focus lead draft analyst, he did a mock draft of what he was hearing. He was down there at the NFL Combine. He didn't have Sanders at all in the first round entirely. And I just wanted to read this quote here from Ted Nguyen. Again, this will come out in an article after the show, but this was everything he sort of gathered here. Sanders doesn't fit the mold of a quarterback picked in the first round in recent years. Teams are looking for plus traits at the position. They're looking for a Josh Allen, a Lamar Jackson, a Justin Herbert. Dynamic quarterbacks are needle movers. Sanders' production in college is good, but not spectacular. He is just average to good in most areas of his game. He is more pro-ready than most prospects and offers a relative floor. The question is that worth a first-round investment? The thing I like about Shedeur, again, we've talked about this before, but he's had cameras around him since he was young, so he's not going to be rocked by that level of it in New York, you would think. He's a tough son of a gun. He's the offensive lines have sucked at Colorado every year. That's one part Deion has not figured out yet, and it's hard to blame Sanders for not Deion, his father, for not figuring that out yet. It's hard to find offensive linemen, especially at a school like Colorado where there's so many other really, really good options. So Shadour's been beat up a lot in college. So obviously he's tough. He's fought through all that, and he's put up these numbers where he finished top 10 in the Heisman voting. So I like Shadur a lot. I was really interested in Shedeur pre-free agency. Now that they have Justin Fields, if you draft the Shadur Sanders, you're saying whatever happens with Justin Fields, it's on a clock, because even if he looks great, it's unlikely that you're like, oh, well, okay, Shedeur, you're getting traded next year. We're going to rock with Justin Fields. That likely spells the end of a long-term future with Justin Fields, regardless of what this season shows. So, yeah, there's just a lot. I'm a little conflicted on whether or not I'd want to add a quarterback, because I sort of want to see what this Justin Fields thing out and see what happens. So putting pieces around him, because we have plenty of holes to do it, sounds like the better play. But, hey, I will just confirm we will be still doing our live draft show on Thursday, April 24th. So you guys will see my reaction all live together as we have people on the show, guests, everything else for whatever they do at 7 or move up or move down or anything in between. So it should be fascinating nonetheless, Pop.
Yep, absolutely. And who knows? You may have a guest speaker from Abu Dhabi.
Wow, that would be crazy. You got like 400-pound squirrels up there. What's happening on your roof?
I don't know. It's
incredibly.
It's your sister. I don't know what she's doing. She's graceful, she's like a graceful gazelle.
I see. It sounded like it.
Or a herd of gazelles. Shout out to Hay.
Yeah, there you go. Let's pour one out there. Let's get to the other news. So we have a video up on the channel. So guys, anytime the Jets have significant news, either departures or signings or anything of that nature, we give you short form content in the video section. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. We're live every single day at 7:30 in the morning, but we have that additional content. So you guys already knew that Tyler Conklin has signed a 1-year deal with the Chargers. What we didn't know at the time were the financial details were not released. At that time, Mike Garafolo has since filled in that void of information. Tyler Conklin, the Jets starting tight end for the last 3 years, has signed a 1-year deal with the Chargers as a base value of $3 million with an upside to $4.5 million. Sources say the incentives are reachable to get to that max value. We talk about that a lot when contracts, for people who don't know, about incentives you think can be reached. Incentives are kind of impossible. For instance, think about Saquon Barkley when they brought him back on that franchise tag reduced number. They said, hey, Saquon, we'll give you $5 million more. All you have to do is lead the league in rushing. We go to the playoffs and all this stuff. You're like, well, none of those things are going to happen. So that's money that's written in the contract, but he's never going to see. Apparently, Tyler Conklin is very likely to see, apparently, whatever these incentives are to get him to $4.5 million. The crazy thing is, Pop, is this guy who's been rock solid for the Jets for the last 3 years signed a 3-year deal for $21 million 3 years ago, $7 million per year. That's the math, folks. And now he signs a 1-year deal for half of what he made in one season on that old contract.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it is unbelievable. And I am going to say this. This could be the first misstep for Aaron Glenn.
All right.
Okay. And so do you happen to know what the veteran minimum salary for a veteran of 7+ years is?
I'd have to do the math because it's on a year. They're in pockets, which I'm sure you already knew this information. But for our fans that don't know, is that the veteran minimum increases the longer you're in the league. So if you're a 20-year veteran, you make much more than if you're a 6-year veteran or something. So,
Yeah.
No, I don't know exactly what that number is.
It's 1.2 million.
Wow.
1.2 million. So, do you know how many passes Tyler Conklin dropped in 2024? Do you happen to know that number off the top of your head?
I do not.
0 passes he dropped. Do you know where he ranked in receptions in all the NFL and tight ends in his 3-year contract with the Jets?
Oh, in totality, it was probably top 10.
Yep, number 8. Number
Okay.
8 in receptions in the time as New York Jets. What are we doing? And again, I'm gonna briefly give
All right.
Aaron Glenn and Muji a hard time. Like, what are you doing? Right? $3 million. So realize this. Realize what it means to everybody here. What is it? What would it cost you? Would you take a job for the same or less money if you didn't have to move your family? Right? You probably would, right?
Right.
And would the Jets be willing to pay a few shekels to incentives? So he would, if you get, by the way, if you get a 750, 800 yards receiving, we'll give you an extra $1 million. Are the Jets going to be upset about paying that $1 million? No. So I don't know what we're doing, right? Barely above the veteran minimum. The Jets are not cash poor. So it's just very, 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 and he was willing to sign a 1-year deal. That's not a big
Apparently.
commitment.
No.
Right. And so you could have had him at least for what they had him for. Right. Because people don't want to move. He may be upset. People sometimes get over themselves. They have a higher opinion than, well, I deserve, right. But in reality, he would have taken $3.5 million a year from the Jets. It's just odd that they let him go in a year where we're, receiver room. You're like, anybody back there? Anybody? And it's just weird they let him go. That's all I'm going to say. Was he, a superstar? Was he up in the upper echelon of tight end? No. Was he a solid, serviceable tight end, high end of the middle of the pack of tight ends in the NFL? Right. Aaron Rodgers, despite the fact that Tyler Conklin didn't drop any passes, didn't throw the ball his way very often. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he threw it 70 times. I get it. But he was more because he went through 12 reads and there's Tyler because he averaged 5 yards of reception. He was a dump off guy as opposed to a guy with intent that I'm going to try and get him the ball. So I just think it was a missed opportunity. What's the risk? What's the risk if you sign him for $3 million? It's not going to kill you. And we could have used the other receiver.
Yeah. It's interesting. Before free agency, there was a lot of hubbub. Shout out to Zach Rosenblatt and Will Parkinson for their NFL sourcing. They said Tyler Conklin's going to have a market, and here are the 4 or 5 plus teams that are going to be interested. I'm like, damn, doesn't sound like Tyler's coming back. And the projections from the cap experts of like what a player will command on the open market. Tyler Conklin was projected to get a 3-year deal for $27 million, $9 million per year, a significant raise over what he had just had with the New York Jets. And what I'm left with is, was that all BS? Did he wait too long to play everyone against each other and then ultimately, get to a bad situation? I'm trying to figure out what happened, because how did we get multiple reporters saying, oh boy, that market's going to be massive, and then it obviously isn't, and then Tyler Conklin signs for this no-nothing deal? I'm curious the true answer that exists beyond here. But to the point of that, I would say, if I'm the Jets, I sign Tyler Conklin, and he makes sure that Jeremy Ruckert and Stone Smart aren't my starting tight ends heading into the draft. And if you take Tyler Warren with the 7th overall pick, great. You got Tyler Conklin and Tyler Warren. This is a team with Justin Fields is going to be running a lot of 12 personnel. They're going to be running bigger formations than ever. So multiple tight ends, I would imagine, are on the field a lot for what the Jets are going to be doing. So what's wrong with it? And even if, let's say, Tyler Conklin ended up being a backup at some point because Tyler Warren was so good, okay, $3 million for a backup, that doesn't sound too bad at all. So again, it takes 2 to tango. I know that the Jets can't just sign anyone for any price that they want, but by all accounts, Tyler Conklin wanted to stay. He just, for those who forget, he just had a baby, or his wife did, rather, Scotty. Their family just had a newborn at the very end of the Jets season. So, to your point, no one likes to move under any circumstance, let alone having a newborn. So, I don't know all their moving plans now, having a gig out in LA, but it's just sort of odd. So yeah, I don't understand it, but maybe it's a schematic thing. I see in the chat questioning his blocking ability, and maybe if they're running the ball up, they don't like that. But as even a receiving threat, to bring him in to have that either as a decoy element or as a reality element, I thought that would have made a lot of sense. But
yeah, I mean, you have three different kinds of tight ends. Okay. One's a unicorn. We'll get back to that in a minute. You have the one that's in there that's closer to being an offensive lineman than a tight end, right? And he's in there to block. And then you have the receiving tight end who's a hybrid. He's closer to being a wide receiver than he is a tight end. And then you have the one that can do blocking and catching. Those aren't very out there a lot, right? So every team has that tight end that when he comes in, it's literally an extra blocker. And right, Conklin, not the world's greatest blocker, but that's not that uncommon with tight ends. And the ones that can block aren't catching the ball very often. But
let's bring up a YouTube super chat here on the show. Every time we got a YouTube super chat, we hear from my amazing, beautiful daughter, Zariah Luna.
Wow.
Comics and stuff. Great to see you in here. You just got yourself a raffle ticket for our contest and some change. You got, you're 66% of the way there for another raffle ticket, so appreciate that. He says, maybe Conk didn't fit the scheme, wasn't the best blocker, if I'm correct. And again, that is true. According to all the analytics, and I don't have them in front of me right now, but you can go look at them out there and see some stuff that Conklin was not the most adept blocker. The scheme question is sort of up in the air because we really don't know what they're bringing over with Tanner Engstrand, but maybe that's the only reasonable explanation, comics and stuff, for why the Jets wouldn't have brought him back. So, curious, certainly, very curious.
Right after they made the announcement, Aaron Glenn called me for my advice on how to backfill the tight end position.
Yeah.
And so we got a conference call with Muji, and I
sure.
came up with a plan. For them.
Oh, okay. Do tell if you can. I don't know if you're allowed to share those state secrets, but
we've got some things in motion, so I think I'm comfortable telling about the plan.
Oh, wow. Well, do tell. Okay.
But I'm going to harken back. There is someone
just not get enough play.
The draft. There is someone in the draft.
Okay.
Right. That goes back to the days of yesteryear. A little known hybrid, a unicorn, if you will. I'll use that term. Okay. A unicorn that spent his last year in the NFL, a legacy, if you will, a legacy player that spent his last year with the Jets. By the way, just for the record, this guy is a dirtbag, but he was a unicorn as a football player. He spent his last year in football in the Jets, and he's currently in a state penitentiary. But can you name that player?
I no longer can.
I'll give you three facts. His father played in the NFL.
All right.
He spent his last year in the NFL with the Jets, and he's currently incarcerated for being a dirtbag.
Unless there's a Kellen Winslow the third that I'm unaware of. I don't know who you're talking about.
It is Kellen Winslow the second.
Wait, what?
His last year with the Jets.
Yeah.
He is currently incarcerated for doing despicable things.
He has a son that's out in the draft?
What? No, I said someone like him.
Oh, I missed the like part.
Like him.
Oh, I see.
A hybrid tight end that could be a game changer for the Jets. That's what I said.
My apologies. I missed the like part. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like
him.
Is there another legacy player? Okay, I understand.
With that being said, it's another legacy player.
Okay.
Another person built like Kellen Winslow the second. That's the last time I'm going to say his name. That's
both of them are great. Yeah.
Sure. And so I am telling you, and we could get him likely in the third round.
This player you're about to bring up.
That's right.
Okay. All right.
He is also the fastest tight end in the top 10 of the draft. Fastest 40 time, the best catch radius.
All right.
Phenomenal tight end. And he gets the respect level that most people get coming out of this university. Zip and Pip. Orlando Gadsden the second.
Yeah, Rondé. Yep.
Arande, thank you.
Yeah.
Arande got that is the tight end. That is the mismatch. That is the person that's going to be the next, tight end that you heard about that you didn't hear about that much before the draft. And he's ranked for whatever reason. He comes from Syracuse, right? You get a little
Yes.
dirt on your name for that, but he comes from Syracuse. His 40 time was like 4.55, which is the fastest of any of the tight ends. And he's got phenomenal catch radius. Yes, he's not a great blocker, but we need a receiver, right? We need someone, and he's that hybrid guy. He's the one that's closer to a wide receiver than a tight end, and he would be phenomenal if we get him in the third round.
Yeah. Interesting. Normally schools, Dad, when they list a player, they soup him up. So they say Paul Andrew Esden Sr., 6'12", 285 pounds. Now, and then they go to the combine, they're like, oh, sorry, they're actually 6'2", and they're 200. So they always soup him up. Syracuse apparently souped down Oronde Gadsden. He was listed on the team website at like a tall 6'3", short 6'4".
He's 6'5".
He's 6'5", 6'5", 243 pounds, 33 and 3/8 arms, 10-inch hands, massive. And when you go to the NFL Combine Next Gen Stat score breakdown, he's the 5th best in production score of all the tight ends in this class. He's 7th best in athleticism score, and in overall total score, he's 7th as well. So obviously, he's got that legacy you talked about. He had 500-plus yard receiving games in 2024, a wide receiver turned tight end, massive catch radius. I mean, again, I know it because I got to see a lot of his games in person. I mean, Oronde Gadsden's a freak of nature. It's weird that, again, maybe it's to your point, the Syracuse thing, and Syracuse hasn't been the power they've been since the 90s, early 2000s, but I have no idea why he's not being considered higher than he is. Maybe we get a surprise on draft night and he's going to go, and me and you go, that makes sense. But right now and everything I hear, I've seen him in the 3rd round. I've seen him in the 4th round. I've seen him in the 5th round of these long form mock drafts.
Yeah, I think he might matriculate up to the 2nd round, but we'll see. He was 3rd in the nation receiving yards as a tight end, right? Outside that ridiculous gentleman, Harold Fannin Jr., right, who maybe was the only player on the Bowling Green team, right, who led the league, who led the NCAA in receiving yards as a tight end. Outside of that gentleman, right, it was 3rd in the NCAA in receiving yards as a tight end. So, yeah.
Yeah, I would. So we have our guy in here, who, by the way, has been in here since one of the very beginning shows, Richie B. I don't give you a lot of shout outs, Richie B, but I appreciate you. I remember you being on these shows many, many years ago. He said Gadsden and Stone Smart are basically the same guy size wise. I'd push back on that a bit. Stone Smart is at 226. Oronde Gadsden is at 243. A 20-pound difference is massive at the tight end position, so I push back on that. The height is close. Stone Smart is listed at 6'4". Gadsden is at 6'5". But I would sort of push back on that. But still, and Stone Smart and what he's been in the National Football League, the one connection you can make is they're both relatively new to tight end. Again, Oronde Gadsden came in as a wide receiver, and then in the middle of his collegiate career, Syracuse said, actually, maybe he will be better served at tight end. But I like that plan. I think there's a lot of, speaking of legacy players, I like Mason Taylor, the son of Jason Taylor, also another former Jet that played for the team. Terrence Ferguson out of Oregon. I mean, there's Arroyo. He's probably going to go a bit too high for my liking. I've heard him in the early 2nd round. That's a little too rich for me. But there's a lot of really good tight ends, long story short, that I like a lot. If you don't want to go Tyler Warren at 7th overall and you kind of want to spread resource, allocation, I could totally understand that too. But that's a good plan. So I'm glad that you, AG, and Mooj talked about it. We talked about which pick you want to use because you got 8 of them.
Yeah. We can't disclose that.
Okay, that naturally, obviously, that would make sense that we couldn't dive into that well, which makes a lot of sense. Tyler Conklin, for folks who for folks who are asking, yes, he signed a 1-year deal with the LA Chargers, so he's gone. Again, I'll give the same shout out I gave him my short form video. Big shout out to Tyler. He didn't ever have to join one of my shows. I'm just some small content creator. He didn't have to. He's a big NFL player. But we made a connection very soon after he got signed, and he joined my show several times to talk about his life and us comparing beards and all kinds of cool, fun stuff. So I will always remember Tyler Conklin fondly here as a member of the Jets, and also a rock solid production. Now, you look at the stats, and they're not crazy, but they're the best tight end stats we've had since Dustin Keller, Pop. So, he's some respect on the name, certainly, for one Tyler Conklin and all his contributions that were here.
Absolutely.
All right, so Tyler Conklin, he is gone. Is there anyone outside of the draft? So the draft is obviously always a good option, especially in a class that is this deep. Is there a free agent you like? Is there a trade you like? Is there any other creativity that you, Mooj, and AG could cook up at the tight end position that could add some different bodies? Because they're going to probably need more than that, too, to fill out the position.
Yeah, we've talked about him a couple times, and you've talked about him before too, right? Give the Raiders a call.
Michael Mayer, yeah.
Yep, he's definitely worth. You think about like some moves that people make, and you're like, what you get players for, and and what you get in return. So, I would throw the Raiders a 4th round pick. I'd give him a call. Hey, man.
Wow.
Right. How about you give us Michael Mayer for a 4th round pick?
I think if you offer that right now, they would take it. I think they've been trying to. Well, that's a little too rich for me. I like Michael Mayer, but what the market says and what you have to pay can often be two different things. A 4th for Michael Mayer, us knowing who Michael Mayer is, sounds like a great deal. He just went 2 rounds earlier 2 years ago. And he's the same player as far as I know. I don't know what else could have potentially changed there. But I think with the desperation, them already having Brock Bowers, you could probably get him for maybe a 5th, but probably a 6th or 7th to get him. He only has 2 years left of rookie team controlled dirt cheap. So I think you can get Michael Mayer for cheaper than that. And again, I hope that's something the Jets explore, because I'm sure you, AG, and Mooj talked about this, obviously, but they have a thing against older people. There are only 4 players on this team that are above the age of 30. As Tyrod Taylor, that's Thomas Morstead, that's Greg Zuerlein, and I always forget the 4th one, but I had it on the Athletic article. But the fact of the matter is there's very limited older guys. People asked earlier, how old is Tyler? He's 29. He turns 30 over the summer. One other question that we get asked all the time, Dave Brigger, appreciate you, Dave. Do they get any type of comp pick for Conklin? Unlikely because of the contract. So if Conklin would have signed a 1-year deal for $15 million, we're talking about a comp pick. $10 million, we're talking about a comp pick. But with it being 1 year for $3 million, it will be negligible to the other moves that the Jets have made. So that would surprise me. I'm not an expert in those realms, so I'll have to double check the over the cap projections for comp picks. That's a great place to always check for those. We are projected to get a comp pick for Hassan Reddick. It would be a 4th rounder. Again, that would be in 2026, which makes that trade a little less terrible, which I joked about on Discord, if you guys remember the Boy Green Coffee Club. You gave up a 3rd in 2026 for him. If you get a 4th back in 2026, again, it's less bad. It depends what other moves the Jets make, which I don't anticipate any splash move that would wipe away that comp pick between now and the draft. So the Jets should be just dandy from that perspective. All right, Pop, anything else you wanted to get to before we open up the phone lines?
Yeah, and I'll just, circle back. I would probably go with our number 146 pick in the 5th round for Michael Mayer.
Oh, okay. All right.
I didn't have the numbers up in front of me at the time.
Okay.
So
is that our 2nd, 5th?
I would go the 1st, 5th.
Oh, actually, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, yeah, we have 2 5ths and 2 6.
Yeah, we're higher than I had remembered in the 4th round. So we're 109. So
yes.
I would go with the 5th round.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Yes, and our Rondé Getz and Syracuse people. Yeah, go watch them if you guys don't know. If you guys don't know about it, make sure y'all do. I appreciate it. So you said you're ready for the phone lines, Pop?
I'm ready for the phone lines. The Imam G. Shout out to my lovely wife.
Sure, of course.
is starting the Saturday morning process, but we have time for some calls.
Okay, there you go. We'll play a quick Hep song. The super chats continue to be welcome. Again, you can join the Boy Green Coffee Club in the YouTube description down below. It's quite simple. Join the Boy Green Coffee Club here. It's only $2.99 a month. You get all the perks of being a Boy Green Coffee Club member, members-only videos, early member access to videos, emojis that are all on the channel, access to our Discord channel, and, of course, you get a raffle ticket for our contest, and all you need is one ticket to win. Obviously, the more tickets you have, the better your odds are. But hey, I've seen anything can happen, people. But let's do a quick Hep song. And up next, Boy Green Daily continues with your phone calls.
Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. Talking Jets football, man. Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. New York Jets Football Club. Offense, defense, special teams, watch Jets football with Boy Green. J-E-T-S, Jets. Let's go.
There we go. Hep just hit it, baby. Yes, let's roll. Appreciate you. There we go. By the way, I just got a comment in, and this is going to be a great story from my pop here. So I just got a comment in on the Tyler Conklin video. Somehow it came across my feed when I was putting up the Hep call-in link. They say, over your shoulder, I see the book, The Catch. Seriously, they wrote a book about a catch? Worse yet, people actually purchased it. What's next? The sneeze? It was a nice catch, but truth be told, they used extra tacky gloves that held the ball almost like Velcro. Back in the 70s and 80s, John Jefferson made those catches all the time. It was so common for him to make that type of catch like they were just another catch. And he is talking about, of course, the David Tyree book, The Catch, which, by the way, let's give a shout out to our Syracuse alum, David Tyree, signing the book. What a nice guy. God did it. There you go. He's a Syracuse alum, and, Tyler Conklin, or David Tyree, excuse me. It's got some dust on it. I haven't grabbed this book in a hot second, I guess, but yeah, this is a great book. A shout out to David Tyree because, being a Jets fan is awesome, of course. But the next best thing is anytime the Patriots lose. And, David Tyree, Syracuse alum, delivering the greatest loss in New England Patriots history is one of the great moments of our lives. So terrific, huh, Pop? Yeah.
Did you really want me to give my thoughts on that?
I don't, actually. But
since you brought it up.
Oh,
right.
There we go.
Boy Green can make Abe Lincoln squeal on the penny. He is cheap. He
selective.
Is no. I'm getting to the selectively cheap.
Oh, here we go.
He is the king of cheap, right? Unless it's a Boy Green priority. So the king of cheap wouldn't spend. He tried to. I got to be careful with my words. He tried to screw somebody down for a $30 dresser for his daughter, and he wouldn't pay $30. He's like, "Would you take 15?" And
it's
then
a negotiation. It's back and forth,
the
man.
moron spends over when he didn't have the money, didn't have a lot of money. You spent over $100 or more, $200 or whatever it was.
It was $200, but
on that ridiculous book.
Yeah.
The reason
it also came with an autographed football. Let me make that clear. I didn't pay $200 just for a book. Okay, it's an autographed book, and also behind this Madden AB. Is an autographed book in a wonderful case. It's a wonderful piece of merch.
The case didn't come with it.
Well, the case didn't come with it, but I got the autographed football. That's a great autograph.
Right. You know what? I went to the gas station this morning. I got the autograph from the guy behind the counter.
Oh, okay. All right.
$30 dresser. I'm sorry, ma'am. That's too much. It would just, be a Foreman function. But that football and that dust-ridden book, I've got to have that.
By the way, I'd like to make it known that if there are any Giant fans out there, I am willing to sell this combination, this book and football, for a right price. I'd take nothing less than $250. Yeah,
he'd take $201, people.
That's up to the negotiation guys. But you always, here's the truth, okay? This is what I'm going to teach my son. You never take their first offer. They come in and say, "Hey,
how'd that work out?"
How'd that work out?
Your daughter's clothes are on the floor right now.
So
But
they
you
end
have
up
that
in the same thing.
$30.
She kind of picks through them and grabs the one she wants. It all works out the same, and I'm $30 richer. But the fact of the matter is that you have to draw lines in the sand. And sometimes they come crawling back to you. Now, in this particular case, right, woman's at $30 for a dresser. I'm at $15, and I'm like, all right, maybe we can let's meet in the middle. Let's get to 20. Let's try to see if we can kind of line in the sand, see if we could get there. So there you go as well. We got a lot of phone calls, but this is also, I'm glad that FL Phil 98 chose to make this a super chat member shout out because I wanted to bring this up on the show. I could not believe when I saw this news pop. So let's bring it in again. Every time we get a super chat here on the show or any kind of shout out,
Wow.
Philium says it here. He's been a member for 8 months. Rest in peace, George Foreman. I cannot believe for the life of me that he passed away yesterday. Stunned me. He's 76 again, still incredibly young, a lot of life. He had a wonderful life. There's no question about it. But man, I cannot believe the passing of George Foreman last night, Pop.
Yeah, I would tell you that I'm a big George Foreman fan.
Okay.
I remember where I was on November 5th when he fight Michael Moore to become the heavyweight champion of the world at the age of 45. He was so tired during that fight that he did not sit down on his stool because the energy to stand back up. And there he was slugging it out with Michael Moore. And there's one thing that all the youngins out there that the old man strength is a thing. His fist, when he knocked out Michael Moore, his fist only moved like 5 inches. That was the runway of that punch that night. And it almost at the time, I'm like, did Michael Moore did he just take a fall? Right. Is that like a fake? And then they showed an overhead view of Michael Moore and you could see the Looney Tune, his eyes are spinning around because he was out. But that literally his fist traveled that far. And Michael Moore didn't know what day of the week it was, laying there like a limp noodle. And George Foreman, the heavyweight champion of the world at the age of 46,
Wow.
46 years old. Is amazing. Amazing. I remember watching it. So, just a quick aside, separate story. I always answer your phone. George Foreman became a billionaire because Hulk Hogan didn't answer his phone.
Yeah.
George Foreman became a billionaire because Hulk Hogan's wife didn't answer the phone and give him the message. It would have been the Hulk Hogan grill, but his wife, when he was picking his kids up from school, didn't answer the phone, and it made George Foreman a billionaire. So
Entrepreneur.
God rest in peace, George. And so you were lucky enough to have named 1 or 2 or 8 of your children after you, so you have a good legacy behind you.
There you go. That's the one story I'll tell real quick. So George Foreman, for those who don't know, he has 12 children. 7 are daughters, 5 are sons, and all of his sons are named George Foreman. And I had one of his sons, one of the George Foremans on my show, that is George Foreman the Fourth, on my radio show. You guys may never have seen this show. It was called American Grit, if you guys have never heard of it. John Cena was on it. It was sort of like a military training show. You did all kinds of challenges. Yeah, I enjoyed the show. John Burke was on there. He's a former Marine. So they had a lot of people on the show. And George Foreman's son, George Foreman the Fourth, was on this show. It was sort of a fun show. They had enough people in it. And again, challenges, stuff. You guys could go back and watch it if you want. But George Foreman the Fourth was on this show. And I ended up having him on my radio show to talk about his experience on American Grit. And his son was super cool. So, that's awesome. So yes, all of his sons were named. So 12 children, a great legacy. Again, man, it just sucks seeing all these, these big time people that we've known in our lives pass away. It's really sad. So again, pour one out for George Foreman today, folks. OG. All right, let's go to the phone lines. We got a lot of people waiting here. We'll get to everybody here. Let's go to Hep here on the show. What's up, Hep?
Hey, Pop. I hope you feel better.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. I was thinking, I'm really conflicted because I really like Tyler Warren at 7. But at the same time, I want to solidify that offensive line and get that going. So, I wouldn't be disappointed in either way. But if they did go with the offensive line, who's the kid? Gunner?
Gunnar Helm. He's a Texas kid, Texas tight end.
Yeah, what about him in the third? And then we pick up our defensive tackle or the best wide out in the second.
I would
like
love
that.
Yeah. I would say this on Gunnar Helm, something that maybe people don't know. Go back and watch the NFL Combine story. So Gunnar Helm is lining up for his 40-yard dash. He's the Texas tight end that Hep is talking about. And, sometimes, everyone has to be ready for you to run your 40. Everyone's got to be in proper position. So he went to go and they blew the whistle like, come back. And when he went to go and stopped when they blew the whistle, he popped out his ankle. So he went to go, like he's lining up and he goes, so come back. And he went, and his ankle turned and he didn't say anything. He lined back up, waited, went through the whole thing and did the entire NFL Combine drills. After he took a picture of his ankle, it was purple and he fought through. So you guys could see it. If you Google Gunnar Helm, you'll see this story. It's unbelievable. And so obviously a lot of his times probably aren't as good as they could have been, but he just sucked it up and powered through. It's a crazy story. I think Mike Garafolo had the picture out there on social media. So he's a tough SOB. So he's, again, you just go to show. I thought I named all these wonderful tight end options: Ronnie Gatson, Terrence Ferguson, Mason Taylor, this guy. And you're right. Gunnar Helm's another guy that could potentially be in the mix. So yeah, that'd be a wonderful plan.
Awesome. Hey, Pop, did Boy Green tell you about the possible trying to get the wedding at the game on this coming season?
Yeah, so so here's the thing, Pat. We haven't told Tatiana about this plan yet, but anywho, so here let's see it here. So we plan on all doing this game, this big tailgate special for one of the games, whatever it's going to be. Again, we'll find out the schedule in 2 months. It looks like 2 months, month and a half. And Hep's plan was like, hey, we've been waiting forever to get married. Why not incorporate that into the pregame where me and Tatiana get hitched? We, I can't remember. Is it June?
June the Jet will be the
yeah. June is like an ordained minister apparently, and so that could be part of everything else that we're doing. So we kind of work that in as part of it. What do you think, Pop?
Yeah, I can see June on the Fabulous Gemstones. Was that?
Oh yeah, I'm actually watching that show right now. Yeah, okay.
But I think Tatiana will castrate you with that idea.
Oh Jesus. Okay, that's all right. So okay.
All right. Well, I put it out there in the wind anyway.
Yeah. But I love the idea, Hep. By the way, just
okay.
I don't think she will.
Okay. Well, we'll see. Speaking of, I appreciate my gemstones, so I'd rather those not leave my body. But
see, I set that up for you there. Right?
Oh, thank you very much. Appreciate it. See, we got a great comedy thing going on here. We got 300 people in the room. Like the video, hit subscribe, baby. Let's keep going down the line and answer all these phone calls. Let's go to, DNY for life. Devin here on the show. Let's go. What's up, Devin?
What's up, Boy Green? Hey, Pop, man, I jumped on here. I'm up early this morning, man, and I just want to say salute to you. It's I'm also Navy too, so I didn't do quite what you did. To you were a nuke, right?
That's right.
Yeah, man, to be a nuke and how many years? 20-something years you did?
Yeah, 20 years. 20 years.
Oh, good Lord, bless you, brother. Thank you, thank you. I do enjoy your takes. I don't always agree, but I do enjoy them. You know what I'm saying? And I think it was dope, man. It's just like I've been wanting to do this. I'm lazy. It's not that I'm lazy. It's just like on the weekends sometimes I sleep in and I like to catch the whole show. So I'm up early today, earlier than normal on the weekends. Anyhow, but I wanted to have this opportunity because I always wanted to say to you, man, like it's dope that you get to do this show with your son. As like I think that's amazing. As a father as well. I mean, I could just it's dope. It's like, even though y'all don't always agree, it's still amazing that, you get to have that dialogue and then you guys share all the stories about the travels that you've done together. And I think that's amazing, man. So, yeah, so salute to that, and I just wanted to have that opportunity because I'd never met you before. And I'm looking forward to actually maybe one day meeting both of you in person. That's going to be pretty cool too.
I hope it lines up for a lot of people. Like
That's
I
great.
said, we're hoping to do this big tailgate for one of the games. Again, we'll see. Obviously, there's a couple of things in the mix. The schedule doesn't come out to May, so that's number one. And number two, one of the Jets' home games is getting taken away. For people who don't know that, by the way, there's a spoiler alert. London is taking one of those games. So a couple of the games we have circled, the London Overlords could go, I'm like, well, I guess that one's gone. So yeah, we're hoping. So I hope I get to meet a bunch of you guys and do it up this year. So we'll keep you guys posted on that. That'd be cool for a Jets home game this year.
And I love the Gotham City sweatshirt, by the way.
Yeah, that's it. Look at that.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate that. Listen, my point on the Jets, though, man. I think AG got it tight, man. I think AG. I'm just gonna let them cook, man. I get it, because sometimes I'm thinking to myself too, and I caught myself this morning. I said to myself, I was like, man, that was cheap to let Tyler Conklin go, right? And I was like, but then I thought about it. I was like, but dude kind of sucks at blocking. He is not explosive. Like, he'll catch the ball. He doesn't drop the ball, which I appreciate. He's reliable, which I appreciate. The cost would have been efficient, which I do appreciate. But I think they have like a type. They're like, you know what? We're just going to clean everything out, and we're going to go after young guys, and we're just going to continue to build with certain level of talent that we believe that we can coach up. I hope that's what it is. But I'm just going to be like, man, we sucked so long, man. I'm just tired of sucking. So, you know what? They're doing things, and you know what I do. You know what I do like about the regime, that what they're doing right now. And I know there are other people on hold, so I'll try to be quick about that. But what I like is that there's none of this glory shit. There's none of this bullshit about after we sign someone, you get this video about how awesome they are. Yeah, we've gotten some videos like they've said, okay, we've signed this person, but we haven't gotten that whole this person is so great and they're going to be so good for the Jets and this is how they're going to work. And we hadn't even heard from Justin Fields. He hasn't done an interview. None of these players have actually done at least I hadn't seen it. Where
and let me just confirm that real quick, Devin. They're not doing them. So the Jets are not going to, which is optional, apparently. I didn't know that in the NFL rule book, but they are not doing any introductory press conference for any of their guys. And apparently their mission is they want to go more under the radar, and that they just want to, hey, no, we're not going to talk up these signings and some big ass things or answer it with media. We're going to do the minimum amount of media basically that we have to do. And we're not going to hype up anything extra. We're just going to focus on ball. So apparently that's what I've heard. So no introductory press conference is coming for any player, Justin Fields or anybody on the team.
I love it. And I do believe with this not signing Tyler Conklin, though, we're going to take Tyler Warren. We're going to put him on the other end, and he's going to be an extra blocker that can block, and I think that's what we're going to take now. I still want McMillan, but I'm gonna be good with Tyler, but I believe in my heart that's what I think we're doing now. But I appreciate you taking my call, Poppers. It was great again meeting you, and I look forward to maybe one day actually kicking it with you, because I think that'll be hilarious. You're a funny dude. If nothing else, you've got a great sense of humor, so I appreciate that too. But y'all have a great rest of your day and enjoy your weekend, fellas.
All right, thank you for your service.
All right, yes, yeah, thank you for your service, Devin. Appreciate you. DNY for life, baby. See, Dad, you know what? At least on the epitaph. At least the guy's funny. So there's worse things you can write on that thing, huh? All right, there you go. All right, let's keep the phone lines going. We've got a guy that is very polarizing. Anytime he calls into the show, this individual, he's a needle mover, and he's brought the gun show. Let's bring in James here on the program. What's up, James?
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you doing today?
Excellent. Good. Thanks for calling in, pal.
Pop. So I've never called when you've been on before, but thank you for your service. My father was an airborne ranger in Vietnam. Yeah, highly decorated, 2 Purple Hearts, Bronze Star, a rifleman's infantry badge. Yeah, shot twice, hit with grenade shrapnel in the teeth, all that, whole 9 yards.
Well, thank God for his surface. Good Lord.
Yeah, he was an amazing. He's got a shadow box over at the VFW in Massapequa Park on Long Island. But just wanted to say that. Thank you very much. Also, George Foreman. I'm a huge boxing guy. Watched a lot of old fights, Sterling Manila, Sonny Liston, Rocky Marciano. I'm a big fight enthusiast. So yeah, shout out to the Foreman family. It's a shame he died way too young. But as for the Jets, there's only one thing and one thing only to do. And you know who that is, Boy Green. That's Tyler Warren all day, every day, and twice tomorrow. All right. That's what we need to do. I want him on at the 7th pick. And I like this kid Higgins. This
Jaden Higgins, the Iowa State kid. Yeah.
6'4". He'll complement Garrett nicely, I think. I think those if we could get those 2 young men on this squad, I think it would speak volumes for the things we're trying to do. The more time goes on, I am loving what this new regime is doing. They're flying under the radar. They are all about business. Aaron Glenn is all about business. He's not going to play around this year. I've said it before. And the signings that we've signed in this offseason, they're not splashy, but they're just going to be nice, solid depth pieces. And I think he's going to squeeze everything out of them that he possibly can. I really do believe that. So it's different than what we usually do. We usually go for the home run, and this year we're not. We're not. And I think there's something to be said for that. I really do. So I'm excited. The more time goes on, I'm getting more and more excited.
Yeah, we swung for the fences 3 times, right? And each one of them brought disruptions and problems. And we just need someone that's going to come to work with their lunch pail and get the job done.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I hope Aaron Rodgers goes to Pittsburgh because I would like to see him in the dirt a couple times during the game for sure.
Hey,
you know what I mean?
The Jets host the Pittsburgh Steelers. Maybe that's a game we got to consider.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I will definitely be there if you do that for sure. 100%.
Okay.
100%. But thanks for the call, guys. I appreciate it. Have a good day.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah. Thank you, James. Yeah. That's another game we haven't really put on the docket, but like in our talks off air, that could be a spicy one. Now, we'll have to be prepared for the potential of that being a prime time affair, so that could factor in as well to people's availabilities for coming to a game like that.
I think we were limited last year a little bit because it was a Thursday night. You had a lot of buzz. It was great. Right. People came. Don't get me wrong, but Thursday challenges people that have to travel.
Yeah. Well, and I did hear that. I know, like Easy, for instance, when you got a game like that, and I totally, by the way, understand the Easy of the way he was in the other one, but like, man, a Thursday, man, it's a middle of my work week. For people that are far away too, that's very difficult as opposed to like a Sunday 1 o'clock game where you have the pocket of everything else around it. So, folks, we'll try to be when we pick. This will be this one game, and maybe we'll pick more than one, but for sure we'll do one. We'll try to factor in as many of those things as possible. Real quick before we get back to the phone lines, Pop, just that thing, because it looked like you were sort of surprised. I guess you didn't hear that. The Jets not doing introductory press conferences. Apparently some people may not know that in general of why they haven't seen it. Obviously, it's good for my business. When they do introductory press conferences, that's content for me, so I would have really appreciated it and learning more about these players. But the Jets have made the decision that they will not be doing that extra press. Instead, we will get the normal media availability that comes at some later point in the offseason when you have to and you have no choice. Well, what do you make of that decision by the Jets?
Yeah, it's it gets announced. You don't have to go, just it's what we do. It's part of business. We don't have to throw a parade for it, right? We're going to throw a parade someday, but it's not because of the sign. It may be a result of the signing, but not just for the signing. And let me just shout out that the 1 o'clock football game is the pinnacle.
Elite
that's
time.
The elite. Yeah. That's the elite time.
Good tailgate opportunity. So we'll see. Well, I'll say this. Hey, Jet fans, for those who missed that last year, my guess, I don't know. I don't have any I don't have any insights on this. This is just a guess. I think we're going to have a lot more 1 o'clock opportunities in the 2025 season based on expectations. We'll see if that's really true. But I still think we'll get a primetime game or two. If Aaron Rodgers goes to Pittsburgh, I'm sure it would be very hard for the NFL to ignore that possibility of very early in the season, Aaron Rodgers, Pittsburgh, Jets, Justin Fields, the cross, both swapping quarterbacks. The NFL, I don't think will be able to help themselves from that one. But I think most of the games, would be my guess, are going to be in that 1 o'clock range, Bob.
Yeah. Well, I agree, but that's good for us. 1 o'clock is a solid time for a game.
Yeah. It's funny. You always want what you don't have, right? When we're in 1 o'clock world, everyone overlooks us. We never get primetime games. We get primetime games. Good Lord. Can we get a 1 o'clock game for Pete's sake? So we always want what we don't have. All right. We got a ton of phone calls. Let's go next. Philium, FL Phil 98 joined us here on the show. What's up, Philium?
Good morning, gentlemen. I jumped on when I heard James because I agree with a lot of what he said. Shout out, James. I'm glad you're becoming part of the family, kid. I just want to say that I have a very different feeling this year. After all of these years, I've had anticipation when they were pretty good and I thought they were going to be really good the next year. I've had excitement when we fired a guy and brought in a new guy, when we signed a great player. I don't remember the last time I had pure optimism. And I have a lot of optimism. And that feels really good. I think they're nibbling around the edges. They're trying to make smart choices. They're not spending money that they don't have. They're trying to go about this in a very methodical way. Everything about AG right now, to me, feels right. Now, we don't know. Last night you were on Jets Worldwide, and Connor made some comments about we don't know if we have a good coach or not. The guy hasn't coached a game yet. Very fair statement. I know this coaching staff we had sucked, and there's nowhere to go but up. Right?
That's right. I think that's it. I think focusing on the younger talent, building the whole team piece by piece, not going for the shiny object in free agency, not overpaying, overspending, and really like Jamian Sherwood was one of the best examples, right? Young talent, homegrown. That is a way to build the whole team. And every time, whether it was Devontae or Hassan, I was like, we really don't need that. You don't need that, right? And then it ended up costing us. So it's got to be a team atmosphere, and going with the younger is very exciting.
Yeah. That's the only point I really wanted to make is I've been excited. I've been anticipatory. I've had high expectations. I've had low expectations. I honestly don't remember the last time I was just purely optimistic. So, that's what I'm feeling right now, guys.
That feels good. Well, Philium, thank you so much for joining us on the show. I'll always appreciate your calls. All right, let's keep rolling here. Up next is Vote Johnny Boy.
So, guys.
Yeah.
Good morning. What up, Pops?
How's it going?
About to pick up my Pops. We're about to go have breakfast together.
Of course, as you guys do every week. Yes. Yeah,
man. So I'm glad Pops is on because I wanted to ask him something. So Shadur Sanders is dropping to 7. Is Jerry Jones calling up the Mooj and saying, bring Sanders back home? And if that's the case, what does it take to make that happen? And what are we getting back in compensation for that?
Yeah, I sincerely hope that is not the case. I, as a Cowboys fan, people have it skewed, right? All these highlights of Dion and et cetera, right? Dion wasn't actually that much part of the glory days of the Cowboys, right? He really wasn't. And if you go back, they rented him, really. He really spent most of his time was not in Dallas. And they didn't need him when they signed him. What I mean by that is he's a great player, phenomenal player, Hall of Fame. Don't get me wrong. I had no disrespect for Dion. But he wasn't part of that core team in Dallas. And he tried to be receiver. And we paid him like he was going to start both sides of the ball. And the experiment of Deion Sanders as a almost pseudo full-time wide receiver failed. It did not work out very well at all. But all that being said, I don't want his son. I wish his son well, but I don't want him on the Cowboys. And the compensation on offer is nothing. So I do not.
Oof.
I think his floor is pretty low, to use the cool vernacular floor. His floor is pretty low, and I just don't think he's that talented at first round selection. Maybe third rounds.
Oh, come on.
He's slow as shit, man. You gotta wait.
Hey, my bad. It's my dad. Say what's up, Dad.
Hey, he's slow as shit. Don't make your dad wait.
No, he's not talking about me. He's talking about the guys that are doing the oil changes.
Sure.
Hey, you could leave New York, but him doesn't ever leave him. So he didn't even say hi. The first thing he says, he's slow as shit. That's how he is. But
you guys enjoy breakfast, Johnny.
Hey, I appreciate you guys, man. Again, this is awesome. I have to say what Devin said earlier, too. When you guys are together and stuff like that, as somebody that's close with my pops, man, it's pretty dope. We have the same arguments. There's stuff that, my pops is an Aaron Rodgers truther, right? So
the opposite. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so he's all been about that now. And I think now he's finally like, he won't ever say it that I was right. But he's like, yeah, I think it was in the best interest of the Jets to move on from him and blah, blah, blah.
Oh, he's flipped.
Yeah, so he's finally flipped over. But, hey, But yeah, hey, I appreciate you coming on the show last night.
Of course,
it was
man.
awesome, man, having you up and having the young youth of the
Yeah,
Jets
next gen.
out
Yeah.
there. Hey, man, them boys.
They were
They're
smart.
good,
They were
dude.
smart as a whip. Again, I was dead honest. These young kids are 13, 14, 15. Again, I wasn't doing anything like that. And my father, who's on the show, could confirm all of that. Who knows? I was digging the lint out of my belly button, for God's sakes. These guys are doing all kinds of Jets content. Yeah, credit to them.
100%. But with the Conklin thing happening, it's looking more and more like it's gonna be Warren. And BG knows that I'm more of the tech guy.
Tet McMillan. Yeah, you want the Arizona wide receiver. I got you.
Yeah,
I'll have
man.
to ask my dad. I appreciate the call, Johnny boy, and shout out to you and your pop. Enjoy that. That time is so special. And I'll ask my dad what he thinks about Tet McMillan or Tyler Warren in a second. But I don't take this for granted. This is the coolest thing of all time. There are all kinds of other people that are working, and not to make fun of a job, but like construction, right? Like, let's say I was doing construction. I guess technically me and my dad could be working together, but like, you know, in your normal jobs, 99% of the jobs in the world, a grocery store clerk, a guy in a cubicle, whatever, you don't get a chance to work with your dad. So every day and chance I get to do this show with my pop is the coolest moment of all time. I pinch myself for that awesome opportunity. So it does not, hit me lightly, and I'm cool. And I'm glad that it resonates with DNY for Lives and Johnny Boys and everybody else there, Pop, for sure. Jets DNY for Life. Speaking of the devil, just sent this in.
Wow.
All facts FL Phil 98. He says he's optimistic. So, that's a good bit. Okay, Pop, we only have 2 callers left. Is the bacon light on yet?
Not yet. I have not got no word from the Imamji, so I think we're clear.
Okay, so it looks like we get to these last 2 callers before we wrap up the show. Badshaw, Badshaw says, I thought I saw Pop just shed a tear over there. Is that what was it? Huh?
That's what it was. I shed a tear for thanking God. You know, Badshaw used to call from the bathroom all the time without a
in
shirt
the darkness,
on, without a shirt on.
Wife's asleep.
Hey, my wife's asleep, and I'm afraid she's gonna kick my ass. So yeah, shout out to that but Badshaw.
Damn straight. And by the way, Badshaw and a lot of these people that I haven't met yet, I've not had the pleasure of meeting. And I hope, again, that the game works out for a lot of you, that we can all come together. So, again, we're hoping to do it up big and do a lot of cool stuff. So, again, I hope it all vibes with you guys. Again, if you guys are interested in potentially going to that Jets tailgate, join the Boy Green Coffee Club for $2.99 a month below, because we're going to be talking about it in the Discord. So, I want to try to be as inclusive as possible. And obviously, I'm going to lean towards our Boy Green Coffee Club members for a conversation on the right game, times, and things of that nature. So if you're in the Discord, you can be a part of those conversations. That's where those conversations will happen. So please, if you're interested in going to that big Jets tailgate, we're going to go to a game. We're going to tailgate before and do a lot of fun stuff around it. Just let us know if you're going to be interested in that. Again, that will be the time to do so. All right, let's go to the phone lines. 2 final calls. Ricky, New York, joining us here on the show. What's up, Ricky? Nope. Yeah, Ricky, you have some sort of mute problem going on there. But you're not even mute on the screen, so it must be whatever you got working there.
He's got his own gear. Look at that shirt.
I know. I love that.
Now
he
he's
has
muted.
His own Ricky thing.
Yeah,
he is muted.
I
don't know if he's trying to flip the switch or something. Yeah, Ricky, you may have to reset your computer thing. You're on mute, even though I don't see you on mute. So you may want to try to flip that. Real quick, FL Phil 98, Phil Young gifting a Boy Green Coffee Club membership. Super cool. Appreciate that. Thank you, Philium, for doing that on the show. Someone just got access to that Discord channel, baby. That's one of the many perks of being a Boy Green Coffee Club member. Excuse me. That went to Adam HW, who is our, across the pond over the seas friend. He was just gifted a Boy Green Coffee Club membership. Super cool. We'll see if he makes a international travel trip, perhaps. We actually had that last year at our tailgate we did last year, Pop. We had someone from Ireland swing by, which was super cool. Him and his wife, whoever you guys are, wherever you guys are listening, excuse me, pour one out for you guys. Thank you for coming that far over. By the way, Philium, you have 6 raffle tickets for our contest as well. Appreciate you, pal. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, let's try Ricky take 2 here. Ricky?
All right. Can you hear me now, guys? Okay. Awesome. Let me start off by saying Aaron Rodgers to Pittsburgh, whatever, don't care. He's not with us anymore. So if Aaron Rodgers goes to Pittsburgh, I have one wish. Cleveland, ahead and take Abdul Carter to line up opposite Myles Garrett and let his old ass have it. He ain't a Jet anymore. I don't care. That being said, I do like Tyler Warren. I think Tyler Warren is kind of like a faster Jason Witten. You know, can block, can catch. I also like who is very much like Dallas Goedert, a young Dallas Goedert. And while I'm throwing out the pro comparisons, let me tell you what. I've been thinking a lot about this number 7 pick. I'm not quite as high on Tater Tot McMuffin as a lot of people are. That Arizona receiver, but I'll tell you what. I've been watching the Matthew Golden highlights. Man, he's got some speed, some nice one-handed grabs. Reminds me a lot of Stephon Diggs, like prime Stephon Diggs, like Minnesota Miracle Stephon Diggs. And you know what? I really would not be that upset if we went that route at 7 as well. One last thing, before I go, and to all the people who think that our free agency has been underwhelming, whatever, adjective you want to use to describe it. I'll tell you what, the EA does interview with Leger Douzable, where Leger breaks down each one of our free agent signings and does a real good job. And I think you'll be a little bit more optimistic if you listen to that. The other thing is after the show, type into your YouTube search Chargers, Chiefs, Week 15, and get ready for the Stone Smart show, because he lit Kansas City's ass up in that game. And really kind of came on towards the end of the year. And of course, because I'm a diehard Jets fan, I started getting delusions of grandeur. I'm thinking, oh, I remember the last time the Chargers had a rookie tight end that came on at the end of the year. He turned out to be Antonio Gates. I don't think that's the case here, but Stone Smart looked pretty good. I wasn't familiar with him, and so I kind of dug in, started doing some research, and started watching the games, and that kid's got some potential, so I'm very optimistic. And Gunnar Helm, God bless him, rolled his ankle, still went ahead and did all the combine. I love that lunch pail attitude, play through the pain, and my kind of guy. So everybody have a great day. Go Jets. And I am actually off to the ER because I just about cut the whole damn end of my finger off at work last night. But what did I do? I taped a wad of paper towels to it and worked another 4 hours because work had to get done. But now that work is over, I'm probably going to go to the ER and see if they can't reattach that for me. But
thank you, Ricky. Jesus Christ, Ricky Nine Fingers joining us here on the show. What the flying hoot? I mean, Gunnar Helm and Ricky are both up there in the tough SOB category. That's up there for someone calling into our show bleeding out. Yeah, that's up there. Anywho, I want your quick thought before we get to our last caller here, Bob. A faster Jason Witten. I will tell you, one of my favorite things in the draft community is when we get comps of players not from like, hey, this is the next Patrick Mahomes. Okay, pal. I love when we get deeper comps, like, hey, this guy's the next Jay Novacek. And I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. Cool grab. Or, hey, this guy's the next, John Randall. I'm like, oh, cool. Okay, we're getting like deep level historical comps. So to get a Jason Witten, I haven't heard that one in a hot second. A faster Jason Witten, which I don't know if that's saying much because Jason Witten had the.
Yeah, just for the record, I could beat Jason Witten in a 40, and you could time my 40 with a sundial. So, but the best part about Jason Witten is he would always catch the ball, and he had that one move where he would like stop and then.
How does that work? And what is this? A pimp slap? What was it?
He
a windshield wiper?
He wasn't moving that fast, so it was easy to stop. But then he would like pimp slap the guy at the side, and nobody's gonna forget. The most iconic when you have a rule made about you. There's rules about many different Dallas Cowboy players, but there's a Jason Witten rule where he ran for like 40 yards without I didn't even think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Just ran for 40 yards without a helmet. That's no longer allowed in the NFL. The play's immediately dead. But he was one tough son of a bitch.
Yeah, there was a Cowboys-Eagles. He had his helmet ripped off in the middle of the play, had this like sidestep of like his face being ripped off, and just kept going like a monster. And pretty good. I'll never forget that play. Jason Witten will eventually be in the Hall of Fame, not for broadcasting after that Monday Night Football career.
He won't be wearing a Raiders jersey, but
that I don't think so, which was sort of disgusting, I'm sure, for Cowboys. Hey, Hall of Fame. There we go. Let's wrap up the show here. We got 400 people in the room. Like the video, hit subscribe. Appreciate you guys. There's no better place to end than EC joining us here on the program. What's up, EC?
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Well, thank you.
I was thinking about that Pittsburgh game. When Aaron Rodgers comes on the field for the first time, if I'm there, I will cheer him, and then I will boo him the rest of the game. I'll give him his props when he walks on the field, and then after that, it's just myrtleize him.
That seems fair.
Maybe he'll run on the field with a flag.
Oh,
if he does that, that would incense.
With a Steelers flag, maybe. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Oh boy.
And the thing you were talking about game time, I live in the Raleigh, North Carolina area. So the only way I could ever make it up is if it's a Sunday one, because I can fly in, I can stay at my niece and my niece's house with her husband and the baby. Because they live right in Jersey there, and then I could go to the game, and then right at the stadium there is a shuttle train that takes you. I can't remember what train station it takes you to. I think it takes you to like a main hub, and then that train takes you right to the airport. So it's a real quick shot. So you can always get, if you go to a Sunday game, game's over at 4. Flights at around 8 o'clock. I could be home by around 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock Sunday night, and then go to work Monday. So that's the only way it works for me.
Okay, well, we'll hope we could get one of those. Like I said, I'll factor in a lot of different things for picking this game. We're not going to pick it recklessly and just randomly pick a game with who cares about the day or time or anything. All those factors will be included. So I appreciate that, Easy.
Right. Also, just quickly, I'd like it to be kind of a little bit later in the season, like maybe the 4th or 5th home game. This way, like, let's face it, if they're doing good, it'll be even more fun.
Sure. But if they're doing bad, I guess it'll be worse.
If their record is like, if they have like a record of like 8-5 or something, that would be a much more fun game to go to than if they're like 5-8.
Although if they're 8-5, I don't know if my fiance is going to be there. She is not a fan of the cold weather, and 14 weeks into the season, we may be getting some chillier temps.
That's right.
No, maybe 6 and 3, maybe.
There you go.
So negotiable. We'll get negotiable on the game.
Like the ninth week of the season, right in the middle of the season, we'll have a pretty good feel about whether they're at least going to be fun to watch. I mean, they may not have a winning record, but I want them to be fun to watch. I want them to at least look competitive on both offense and defense. I just don't want them to be an abject disaster on one side of the ball.
We can all agree there. Yeah, I agree,
right.
Easy.
Hey, Pops, thank you for your service, man. That was cool.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, EC. Yeah, Papa, we'll do it on a different show, I guess, where we could kind of openly talk about, because we know all the opponents, obviously. So we could try to figure out what game will potentially be there. Like I said, folks, I'm going to try to work with all you. I'm seeing you guys have all different suggestions for the opponent you want or the time of year you want and all this other stuff. Again, if you want to be involved in these straight up conversations outside of calling in and sharing them like that, we'll be doing it on Discord, which, again, all you have to do is be subscribed to the Boy Green YouTube channel, of course, and be a member to the Boy Green Coffee Club, which you could do down below for $2.99. Again, I've had some early conversations with Chef Kevin Gilbert, and it looks like we'll have him catering that event, which would be terrific. We have to hammer out all those remaining details about it, but that would be awesome. So we have a lot of our Boy Green Coffee Club members all coming together with their special skills and talents. So I'm very much looking forward to it. Pop, any final thoughts?
Not at all. Thank you for allowing me to be on the show, and hope everyone has a great weekend.
All right, everybody, thanks for tuning in. We'll be back on tomorrow morning for another episode of Boy Green Daily. Take care, everybody. We'll see you.